Story time.
All right, smile.
Okay. Posting it now, Graham.
All right. Okay, let's roll here. Getting a little quicker at preparing, but
This one.
Oh, yeah.
all right. Sorry about that, there, BTO fans. I know there's plenty of you out there, but yeah, it's Anishinaabe Mowin time here, Debaganeg, and we are going to take you into a little discussion here about our language, the language spoken by the people that originally inhabited this area here, which is northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ontario, parts of Quebec,
Michigan.
the UP, all them beautiful places. So yeah, Minogijeb, Naski Benes, Minogijeb, Nukamis.
Minokishim.
And yeah, what we try to do here is we're trying to encourage everybody to use the Anishinaabe Mowin language. It's one of the things that we're kind of losing here in village over time, and just kind of continually getting whittled down. But there are little pockets of hope here, and one of them that we have here is Perry. He's carrying on, the language, and he's learning from his grandmother. Just like we used to be able to do, straight from our parents and our grandparents and all of our loved ones. Would come in, and including our. We can't forget our ancestors. And they speak to us also. Karen, Auntie Karen, she talks a lot about dreams and how we, those spirits and everything communicate with us. And so she's got some stories that she's going to share with us today. And Perry's here. He's kind of the understudy, and he's pretty knowledgeable. He's got some working on his fluency and his increasing his vocabulary, and you can just see in when his participation here, his questions are right on, as far as how to say things, how to interpret things, and then also questions about dialect, because we get these sources from either online or they've been written beforehand, but they come from other areas within Minnesota. And one of the things about that is that there are specific dialects to certain areas. And one of the areas here, which is Net Lake, of course, that you're listening to KBFT, is we have a particular dialect here, but that shouldn't discourage anybody from learning as much as they can about the language, or at least trying to use the language. What we can do is actually have active discussions about it and say, where we learn this material from. I got it from the book, or I got it from an online source, or I got it from my grandmother, or I got it from my teacher in college or something like that. So there's a tremendous effort that's happening out there, and we're trying to bring back use of that language, and so it's very good to see, efforts like this, and it all goes together. I think we've talked previously about some of our cousins that are out there, and their use of the language and trying to teach it to others. And I think just every effort that we can come up with is a good effort, whether it's through public school, or whether it's through community groups, or whether it's through our own family. And so that's very important. Like I said, Auntie Karen just stresses, use your language, and that's what she's about. And I'm going to use my language. I'm going to introduce myself here, and then I'll turn it over to Anishinaabe here. Bonjour Anishinaabe, bonjour asabi kene zaga igining, anin in Dunaway Gamag. That's my ancestors.
Dinaway Maganag.
Maganug, in Dinaway Maganug, and Miskobenes Indigenous Cause, and that would be my Indian name. It was given to that, but my aunt over in Red Lake, he gave me that name when I was about, I'd say 19 or 20, I think, when I got that name. And Migizi and Dundame, so that's my clan. And Asabi Kane Zagayining, that's where I was raised, but currently reside in Onanami Zagayagan, in Dunjaba. So I'm living over in Lake Vermilion. So that's one of the things. And then I'm going to try to say this again. Remember, I always try to say my age. Na-nibidana. Na-namidana.
Na-namidana.
Na-namidana. Na-nan. I got to cheat.
Nibibunikis.
Nibabun Nikis. Okay. All right. And Miigwech Bizendawiyeg. Nashkibenes.
Gintam.
Gintam.
Nashkibenes Indigenous Cause. Makwan the Dudam, Speakune Zagayan and Dunjaba, Nisimidam Babunigis, Miigwechawandam, Amaya, Gintam, Gagawanak.
Kita kido Wenan Gigi Wina. Who gave you your name? When you what? Tell about that. What it means? Who gave it to you?
Oh, my name?
I know you got your name when you were 3 months old. 2 months old.
My aunt?
Yeah. Grandma Jessie.
Grandma Jessie, Jessie Drift. I remember, I always...
You were 2 months old, but...
2 months?
Yeah, 2 months old.
Oh, okay.
In the name, what it means?
Nashkibenes, and it means thunderbird gliding down from the sky. I spent many years trying to figure out that name, but I know Jessie. Yeah, when I was 2 months old, she gave me that name.
Your
Great grandma, and my dad recently talked about it. He said he remembers the different way that it was done. They said she held me,
Mm-hmm.
and she spoke the language right away, and it was no English.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all gathered around. I think it was it at your house or her house?
Our house.
Your house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because I spent I want to say 2 decades of my life trying to figure out, because everybody's name means something. Like George is Miskopenes, yours Gagawanuk. That trying to find meaning as to what does it mean.
Every name has a meaning.
And I'm still trying to figure it out to this day. I thought I had it a few years back.
Every name has a color.
Yep. And so that's one of the many regrets that I wish that I do have about my aunt, is that I wish when she was here, or when I was here and she was still here, that I would have asked her what I know what you dreamt about, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
And I could have just gave her. It would have been as simple as just going to her house and giving her tobacco. So if you have a spiritual name, and you don't be afraid to go to that person who named you and just give them tobacco and ask them what is it, what's the further meaning of it, or is there something that I should be doing?
They're kind of, the person that gives you the name, they're kind of like your, like how the non-Indians uses like as their godmother, in that, then that would be that, not the godmother, but the grandmother that you can go to talk to when you have problems or ask questions. The person that give you a name, that would, the purpose, and then, but that's the way it is with the Anishinaabe way,
Now that you bring her up, though, I remember last year, before we start doing that game board business, and I helped you design those boards.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I just come off of getting, I quit my job at Oshki. I was a security guard there for a while. It's a treatment center for Native people in Bemidji.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't doing anything. I was just letting my life kind of just doing nothing. And I remember dreaming, waking up from a dream, and there was this older woman, Mendimoe. How would you say yell again? Is it Paktea?
Oh, that's hitting.
Hitting, not hitting.
Bobby.
Mendimoe Bobby.
Hollering.
And I could hear her screaming, kind of like telling me to get up.
Bobby. Yeah, that's how you say hollering.
Bobby.
Oh.
Mendimoe Bobby. Elderly woman yelling at me, and I remember I was in my laundry room, and that word came to me out of nowhere, the wah. And I remember I called you right after. Remember, I was kind of freaked out. I said, what's wah mean? And you said, that means the person who named you. That word just came out of my head. And I'm like, and that's another regret I have too, is for the past 10 years, I learned all those words all the way up till I was 19, 20 with you. And then when I moved off the reservation to go to college and do all this stuff, that I stopped with my language, my language stuff. I still remembered it. I still had it all, but that was just that connection to your to your person who named you.
She must have been hollering at you because you were forgetting, or she wanted you to go ahead and keep on and do more, learn more. You know why? Because the Indians' dreams are so powerful, that's how they reach out to us from the spirit world, through dreams, and like you said, you were, when them names are, if you're just a little tiny baby, when you get a name, the way it does hold you when you're little, and then after she gets done, she passes the baby around and to everybody that's sitting there observing the naming, and then each person kisses that baby on the head, on the forehead, and then they pass them to, when the baby gets past the person, they has to say his Indian name. Then the next one, they have to say his Indian name and keep on going. And that's the way it I was taught. I sat in on all of your you could say way or ni. Well, that's ni way is my
Ni way.
or way is just who named you. But yeah, there's sometimes, like I was talking somebody came to me to interpret a dream, and I said, you know, when you lose your ability to bear any more children, something else will take its place. Maybe it's naming. Maybe it's dreams, powerful dreams, where somebody from the spirit world will come to you and try to tell you something. And, you know, but that's if you're an Indian, you will dream something. But like they said, pay attention to what you dream. Someday you'll know the purpose of your dreams. But that talk got too long, but I
Yeah.
gotta introduce myself to
Oh yeah, we forgot.
Minogajeb Ningbokud Gujing. Good morning. Cloudy outside. Nungum today. Gegago Sena Minua. It's almost cold again today. Nukamis Indishani cause. Sabikane Zagi Igan in Dun Jiba. Addicted to them. Away God. Away Niniwe away Shinikazo Mrs. Chicago. Edwest. She didn't have no. She might have had a English name, but she never used her English name. Only Edwest. That was what they called her. Was Mrs. Chicago, and that's who named me when I was just a baby. And they say that to name your baby as you know, young as he is, just born. Name him then, him or her. Don't wait. You know, there's a lot of them that are maybe in their teens or even 30s. They're asking for names now, you know, but I don't know, like long time ago it stopped for a while. There was not even nobody, like there used to be giving Indian names now probably in the 40s. That's when I got my name. 40s, 50s, 60s, you know. And even 70s when Jessie named all my kids. I think she named all of my grandkids, every one of them, until it got to Larissa and Mark and where she passed away and she couldn't name them, so I got other people to name them, like Jim Bushkagan and Bill Blackwell. Was an OB tongue, he named Anthony. So we're losing that even. We're losing. Away. What would I say? Naming. It's in my head, but there's hardly any Niwes around here anymore. There could be.
I think if they, maybe in the community, I'm not sure of too many, but I know there's quite a bit out there that, you know, another, like Fond du Lac.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Leech Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Red Lake for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here we only have two.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's me and Ms. Obitang that can give names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, that's not everybody that can just give you a name, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to go through the lodge, the midday lodge, to give names.
Mm-hmm.
To, you know, but you can do ceremony, you can do prayers and everything. You don't, you know, that you can do that anytime.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just the stronger things like naming and
Doing medicine.
yeah,
and-
like funerals and everything, else. But yeah, well, I had some stuff about, we're gonna talk about sentences today,
Mm-hmm.
about school.
Excuse me.
This is, I'm gonna say it in English first. I go to school. Nigi kino amagi, ni kino amagu.
Nigikuno amago.
Now, Perry.
Nigikino magu.
Wawashkesh shinikazo gagi kino amawid.
Wawashkeshi. Ijinakazo. Gikino mawid.
Gagi kino amawid.
Gagikino mawid.
George.
Wawashkeshi
In shinikazo.
injinikazo. Gikino amago.
Gikino amawid.
Amawit.
Now she's saying, Wawashkesh is my teacher's name.
Oh, okay.
In-
Gikino amawit.
Okay.
Gikino mawid.
Nigi Kandan. Anishinaabe Mawin. Minawa. Jagonashi Mawin. Ashki Benes.
Nigi Kandan. Anishinaabe mawin. Minawa Jaganashi mawin.
George. Nigi.
Nagi Kandan. Jagana. No. Anishinaabe Moen.
Minawa.
Minwa. Jaganashan Mo. What?
Jagonashi Mawin.
Jaganashi Moen.
I learned Anishinaabe and English.
Hmm.
I learned. I have a pencil in Dayan. Is I have in Dayan. Pencil is Oshabi Iginak.
Indayan Ojibi Igna.
And Dayan Ojibi Igna.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have paper in Dayan. Mazini Igan.
Indayan Mazani Igan.
And Dayan Mazini Igan.
I like school. Nimin Wendan. Gikino Amaguan.
Namindwan Gikido Ama Iguya.
No, not Gikido. Gikino
Gikino.
Amaguan.
Namindwan Nagikino Amagoyan.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. I like school.
Ningi
Namindwan.
Kandan. Gikino Ama Go Gayan.
Yeah. Nimin Wendan.
Oh, Namin Windam. Okay.
Gikino Amaguan.
Ningi Kandan. Nigi Kamo.
Gikino
Gikino Ama Windam.
Amaguan.
Amago.
Nimin Wendan. That's something you like. Yeah.
Nimin Wendan.
Gikino Amaguan. Gikino Amaguan. YAHN.
Y-A-A-O. Wan.
Gikino Amaguan.
Gikino Amagwa. Gikino Amag.
Guan.
Gowan. Okay.
In Wawashkesh must be her an Indian name,
Oh, okay.
that teacher. Wawashkesh is my teacher's name. Wawashkesh is Shinikazo. Gikino Amawid. Gikino Amawid. And that's sentences you can start,
Mm-hmm.
And I had some more stuff here on. I found this about trying to. I'm trying to. If you hear this enough, it'll stick to you. And this is a part for gathering and preparing wild rice. This is another one I found in There is a religious part that plays the part of how we cherish the wild rice. For every grain, I honor every grain in my religious belief and tradition. The Great Spirit is behind the growing of all nature's plants. There's worms, bees, and other creatures that are the ones to help the rice start growing. In our tradition, the wild rice was put on this earth for us to cherish, not for us to keep on taking and taking and taking and putting nothing back. That's how we believe. Okay. Well, starting in July, go out and check the lake to see how the rice is growing. It comes in stages. The first part of July, you can see the rice on top of the water. It's like a long green weed that lays on top of the water. From there it starts standing up. There's a stem that grows about 3 inches in 24 hours. The stem sets to be 1 1/2 feet high. It has flowers in the bottom. When the stalk is fully grown, there is hulls with flowers on the bottom. You can see the little flowers in the bottom where the rice head is going to be. There's bees and other bugs that pollinate the flowers so that the grain will grow. You keep track of that, and pretty soon there's grains growing in the hull. Next, the rice goes into a milk stage. This is where the rice starts to ripen into a regular grain. There's always creatures taking care of the rice grain. Some of them eat one another to have control so they don't raise Cain with the rice. You know the rice is almost ready to pick when about 4 or 5 grains of rice sprout from the top of the plant. You don't pick it right away. The 4 or 5 grains on top are going to be seed for the following year. If you pick that, there's going to be nothing. You have to give the rice a chance to reseed throughout the season. Wild rice falls back into the lake. That is where seed comes from. Sometimes the rice lay dominant for about 5 years and it sprouts. Every year might be different, might miss a year. Getting back to nature, when you know there's going to be abundance of wild rice, you take care of the hazelnuts in the woods and the pine cones. They tell the tale if there's going to be rice and abundance of rice. If there's going to be an abundance of pine cones and hazelnuts for a good harvest. I also heard there's a lot of choke cherries too. So, you can see that if you keep track, that's how you know rice is going to grow that same year. If the quantity of pine cones and hazelnuts is low, there's going to be rice, but there's not going to be an abundance. We go out into the canoe when the rice stalk is about 1/2 ripe. We have knocking sticks and we get in a canoe and knock the rice. We don't knock it hard. It all depends on how ripe the grain is. Sometimes the rice grain does come off the stalk and you can ruin the stalk. The stalk is hollow. Once you break the stalk or you damage it in some way, the rice stops growing. We have to be very careful when we pick rice. A good experienced rice picker will slide the knocking sticks over the stalk. Once we get the rice in the boat, we bring it onto shore. The same day I pick wild rice, I usually try to cure the rice by open fire. That is called scorching kapisige. You scorch the rice for 45 minutes to 1 hour. The rice is scorched to improve the taste. The next step is thresh the rice. You get the full flavor of the grain right away, and it's easy to cool if it's done. If you leave this rice 3 to 4 days before cutting, before curing, ceremony before we can eat the wild rice. But you know, if somebody takes care of this, like next year, you know, go out there in July, send people out there and look, just keep track, like whoever the leaders are, or you know, they gotta know about how it was a long time ago, you know, and maybe we will get a second chance at a full lake one of these times, you know, like how it used to be. And, you know.
Yeah, I wish I could, there's that old video that, I don't know who exactly filmed it, but that's one of the most amazing videos I've ever seen. It was, I think it was some Hollywood person, I'll just say that. But they must have worked out, you know, in the film industry, and they brought up a color camera, which I think at the time was experimental. And they filmed, you know, a bunch of scenes here in that lake. Well, of course, there's many. You ran into that, right? You ran into
Yep.
a gentleman that used to come up and take photographs and record stories, audio.
Monroe P. Killy. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, we can probably do some more research on that and find, because I would like this to show everybody that film, and they would not believe what this lake is capable of, you know, of producing as far as wild rice goes. I mean, that
video you were saying with those big fish, too?
that too, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember. I know the center of it, or the person that was kind of leading him around, was Pete's dad, Pete Isham's dad, and he was the one that was taking these guys around. They were pulling sturgeon out of the river, you know, and those things were, you know, probably about, I don't know, 6, maybe 8 feet long. Yeah, and they were wrestling them. They were getting tossed around by them fish, and fish were, you know, they grab them like that, and they're probably about this big, almost about as big as a tree, and they were trying to wrestle them, and they're pulling them out of the water, and they were getting
like a shark.
yeah, it's like a shark, yeah. And they were
Holy
getting flopped around by them fish. It was taking like 3 or 4 guys to pull them out, and you know, that was you know, like I said, back in the 40s, probably just before, you know, they kind of standardized the color film formats and all that kind of stuff. So, but there was one in particular where they're showing these people that were poling, ricing just right off of the shoreline here, you know, Lakeshore Drive. They must have been filming from the road up there, or the trail or whatever, and they were filming people going by in front of the island, and that whole area right in there was just full of rice. I mean, they were poling, they were using poles, and that's all you could see from kind of, the road is up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Over the lake. So when they were filming them people, you weren't seeing any of the people in the canoe. You were just seeing the poles coming out of the top of the rice, and that's how tall that rice was, you know. So, and it was just full. You couldn't see anything other than them poles coming out of the rice, you know. So, you know, if you think back and just kind of how things used to be, you know, that's it. I don't think anybody younger maybe remembers any of that, you know.
I've never ever. I'm only 30 years old. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I've heard stories, but not seen them.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
You didn't even have to go far out ashore to go get the rice.
Yep. Yep. And that was really good, because a lot of our elders, they didn't have to go too far. They just go right out there, go up and down a few times, and I'm sure their boat was full and had enough, back in them days, they weren't after,
Yep.
10 bags or 12 bags or 15 bags of rice, they were just after enough to get through the season, the winter and stuff, so. But yeah.
I know I'm really fooling people with my Facebook pictures when my dad and I got that big boat full.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to some of those ricers back, like what you're talking about. Back, the rice was so bountiful that you could go out there, get 2 boatfuls,
Oh yeah, and they had more than
more.
that.
Yep.
And so, I don't know. I guess the whole point of bringing that up is just, looking at what's possible versus what it looks like today, So that kind of gives you an idea of, the impact of what we're not doing, as far as our practices go, in recognizing these spirits. And I've heard that before too, like a lot of the spirits are either disappointed, and maybe just kind of like, they've kind of forgotten us, or they've forgotten our, what it is that they used to do.
Remember what Devery Fairbanks said to us? I never knew this. It's being around elders, no matter where they're from, you learn something. And he talked about, he said, "Hey Karen, do they still bundle the rice up?" And I was like, I didn't know what he meant. I was like, what is he talking about? And she responded, "Nukamiski kadu gawin." He said no. My grandmother said no, and I was like, what does he mean exactly? She said, oh, they used to, before a thunderstorm or a big rain storm, men and women, well, was it women too, right?
Yeah.
Men and women from the village would probably be about 10 to 20 of them. They'd all go out and they'd bundle up those rice, tie them in bundles. And people say, why would they do that? Well, because that stops all that rice from like shaking, like during that storm, that windstorm. It does save the rice. But I was thinking, could you imagine the hard work it would have to go into actually doing that? Going out on that lake and going out all those areas, putting those rice. That's
Well, that's one of the things I want to point out is that nowadays supposedly we can just go to Zups, or we can go to anywhere and get alternatives to the rice diet that was so, in back in them days it was so important, that they preserve what they could, that's what they were willing to do. And back in them days it probably wasn't really that hard, to undertake. It's just like old stories, I'm going to school. Oh yeah, I used to go to school and had to go uphill, both ways, to get home or whatever. Those kind of hard stories. I know a lot of the stories that we have is hauling water.
Oh man,
we don't have to do that no more. But that's I don't think that's really an excuse though nowadays, especially with our lake. I think we got to get out there. I think that was the thing, is that we're not getting our young people out there. You know what I mean? And so that money dues, the spirits, I think they see that and say, oh no, these people are losing their way, and so I don't know if we need to provide that anymore for them, that kind of thing. So I just want to stress that we haven't forgotten, and it's very important, I think, that we encourage our young ones to get out there, and of course, to give our appreciation, or show our appreciation also.
This morning I went to Head Start from 9 o'clock till almost 10, just 5 to 10, and I come here. But just by observing them little kids while I was telling story time, I ate with them at the table, and I explained all the utensils and how to say cup and Well, Stephanie's doing a good job as teaching them. You know, they already know. They know how to count to 10, but I use kind of language like namadabin. You know, we sinin, sit down and eat. Namadabin, we sinin. And bizan. They knew what bizan was. Be quiet. You know, and they knew some, but from there. I did a lot of talking to them, but I only seen 2 little girls that are very interested in the language. They just really paid attention and they would repeat after me.
Mm-hmm.
2 little girls, and I know that maybe I don't know who their parents. I think one is Melita Spears, and I don't know who the other little girl is, who her parents are, but them kids just amazed me. Then my little granddaughter, her knowing words when I, like being again, come in I knocked on the table and she said, being again, come in. Wegunan, she called me, Nukamis. I said, Wegunan. And she said, can I dig in your bag? I had bought an animal bag with me. And I taught them like 3 animals. I taught them Mikinak and Shishib and Makwa. They already knew Makwa, but they didn't know Shishib or Mikinak. But I noticed them little kids are they say the words really good. There's not like us, we have like we have some. Terry even does sometime,
Yeah.
he makes them. It's not like Nana Midana 50.
Oh, yeah,
That's my
yeah.
problem.
There's some words we can't say, but these little kids said them all. I told them I could come in Tuesday and Thursday. I said when I come up to the radio station, I could come there about 9:15. I said and just sit with them at the table and then go in their little group after for a little short story and I explained a pabawin is a chair. I'd say namadabin uma pabawin, sit here on a chair. Namadabin uma pabawin, and I said a dupawin. I said gidabin chigeo dupawin, clean your table. And then but and I explained there like nagas is a cup, nagan is a dish, amquanes is a spoon, and that's all they had to. And dudu shabu, they were pouring their own milk, and I'd say, "Kita minikwen dudu shabu, you should drink all your milk," But them little kids are all willing to learn, and I think that's a good start first, depending on how long I can go there. I'm just volunteering like 15-20 minutes of my time there, and doing I don't know how long I'm gonna be there, but for now I just wanted to see how it went this morning, and it went good. So probably they start kind of trying to lay around and play around after 15 minutes, so then I just quit and didn't push them. But they all come up to me, and my little granddaughter called me Grandma, but I said Nukumis. So then she started calling me Nukumis. So then the other kids start calling me Nukumis. But there's a girl there that knows the language. She don't talk it, but I was talking, Anishinaabe went to her and she was answering me back.
Mm-hmm.
That's Donnie Wilburn's,
Oh, yeah.
what's her
Wow.
name? But she
Mhm.
can understand, yeah.
Needs to go, Gagit.
Mhm.
Good
No,
day, boy,
she-
na?
Yeah, she can. She should teach it there while she knows.
Mm-hmm.
If she can understand,
Yeah.
she must know.
That's
must know.
good. That's really
Mhm.
good.
Okay, I got some. Which reservation means where water stops flowing? Which reservation means where water stops growing?
Naguchiwanam?
Yeah.
I cheated. I looked on the answer sheet.
That's Fond du Lac. Say it again.
Naguchiwanam?
Yeah. Which clan guards the door of the sweat lodge?
Makwa? Makwa
Yeah,
do them?
yeah.
Makwa?
Makwa. How are plants honored by the Anishinaabe?
Masema?
Gawin? In beadwork.
Oh.
Mhm. Which two trade goods changed the life of the Anishinaabe forever?
Iron?
Yeah.
Or,
Guns and. Is that Shkudewabu?
Yeah, guns and alcohol.
mm.
Is that how you say alcohol? Shkudewabu?
Yeah. Mhm. Name two items hung on a cradle board.
Wajigun, Minawa. I don't know how to say cord bag. Naval cord bag.
Odis.
This.
Odis.
How do they, is that something that they place in a special,
In a special little
well, a
Bag.
bag, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little,
No, is that carried?
with them through life.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
They,
That's why. Okay.
they call that a dissy. A dis. That's your belly button.
Mm.
And as soon as it falls off, they're supposed to put it in a little squagon, little
Mhm.
hide bag,
Oh.
and keep it in there and tie it up so you
Mhm.
can't open it.
And that's like a responsibility for the rest of their life then?
Yeah.
That they
They
keep.
keep it, the mother, or they keep it somewhere where they all know where it's at.
Oh, okay.
They hang it in a room or
Mhm.
whatever. I know they used to do a lot of that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
They used to make and then a dream catcher was hung up on
How do you
it.
say that? Bawajigan?
Bawajigan.
Okay.
That's Little Lee's album name, Bawajigun.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's cool to see.
Get your money due, asked man to do what? He asked Nanabushu to do what?
He came down? No.
Oh, name the plants and the animals.
Oh, okay.
Name the plants and animals.
That's where I told you, as soon as the snow falls on the ground, I can tell that one about all the animals, how they got their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first to enter during a grand entry?
Eagle staff, right?
Yeah, the eagle staff.
How do you say staff? I know.
Or is that
Eagles-
like a flag, or is that how you would say
Yeah,
that?
they just says eagle staff, they say, but, I forget what they call it in Indian. Mikizi, I'll have to think about it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Eagle,
Some kind of reference.
the eagle flag, is that the flag? Or,
A flag, yeah. Probably like a flag.
grand entry. Yeah, all them different flags when they first come in. says name for
Gikaweon
Dikaweon.
or Gikaweon?
Probably Dikaweon. But that's a hide Weon. Dikaweon.
Gikaweon. Starts with a G. Gikaweon. A flag.
Oh yeah. Name 4 to 6 emotions that challenge us. 6 emotions.
Love, hate, joy, sadness, courage, and fear. See if I can. I know joie is that love?
Mm-hmm.
Joie. And then fear is zegas. Zegazi. Scared. Fear. Courage. Sadness is manandam. I don't know. Joy will.
Joy would be Niminwendam. Liking it or something.
Mm-hmm.
What about hate? I can't remember what hate was. That should be an easy one to learn. Hate. I used to hear that word.
Jingenim.
Jingenim. Yeah.
Jingenim.
Jingenim. But they shouldn't hate anybody. There shouldn't be no hate, but there is.
You ready for translation time, Graham?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Gnu Gijik posted. I can understand most of these words he says. But that's why I love these. Oh yeah, and if you have time, those who are listening and you really want to further and learn more, add yourself to these Ojibwe language tables there. They're really good. So I mean, I can't, like I said, I think Jess Anderson added me to this one, but Bemadizi win, Midibishko, Makade, Zinzibakwaduns, Simakukuns, Shke na Owe Gawin Wika Gika Gikandazi, Danzi, Gikandanzi, Wa Ina, Uniguyan. So I know he talks about good life, Bemadizi win. Dibishko, me Dibishko.
Well, that means a long time ago. Dibishko.
Dibishko.
Something long time ago. Dibishko.
And then Makade Zizi Bakwaduns.
Black candy.
Black candies, maybe licorice? No, black licorice.
Probably.
Bakwaduns. Zizi Bakwaduns. Duns. Imakakuns. Imakakuns.
In a little pack, in a little bowl, like a you know what I mean? Like, say them little birch bark baskets that are big, that are that, like in a bowl, in a little bowl.
Oh yeah, he said SHKE, so shke.
Shkena.
Shkena. Shkena. Owe Gawin. Wika Giga Gikandanzi. So
Wika is hardly. You'll hardly.
Now, yep, they hardly.
Here.
They hardly know Gikandanzi.
Yeah.
They hardly know what's Ina Uniguyan. Ina Uniguyan.
What they're saying, what is said or something.
What is said. Okay. Shkina Owe Gawin Wika Giga Gikandanzi Wa.
No, that's somebody that has learned the language.
Yeah.
Or is learning the language too.
I think so. I don't know him very well. His name's he's got a funny picture.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They don't know his face. His name's Gnu Gijik. I've never met him before, but
That's Chaz's name too.
Yeah, that's
Gnu
Chaz's name too. Yeah.
Gnu Gijik. So they're okay. So he's talking about long time ago. Life was good.
Yeah.
Bimadiziwin mi Dibishko. Long time ago. Way back when, huh? That's Dibishko.
Yeah.
Okay. Black candy in a little basket.
Yeah. Makakus or something.
Yep. Makade zinzibaku duns makakuns. Shkena owe gawin wika gika gikandanziwa and no unikuyan. So they hardly know now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But so I'll do one more, and I just like doing these because, like I said, I like.
That'll help you to
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Iwijiag.
Okay, he says another one. Midash idug o Midash idug o sagona. He says, someone translate this. I don't know. They're debating on it right now. It says, I guess that's how it be. I guess. Because somebody wrote and said, that's a lot of emphatics? No, what? That's not what it means.
What is that first sentence?
I don't.
Midash.
Midash idug o au sagona. Midash idug o au sagona.
He already, what I get out of it is, he's saying this. Midashiduk.
He's saying this?
Midashiduk.
Idug. Oh, sagona. Okay. Let's see another one. Oh, okay, here, check this out. Okay. This is another one I found. Oh, I know who this guy is now. This Ozawak Gwaneyash. Ozawak Gwaneyash. That's Dan Jones's nephew. That's who that is. So he knows a lot too. Ginu Gijik, this Ozawak. I seen him down at the urban office picnic, but I didn't know he was Boy Sport enrolled. That's good. He's a fluent speaker too. Here, hold on. He has a picture with Dan. I'm gonna pull it up right now and show you. Cause that Isaac Kingbird, he's another fluent speaker from Red Lake. He commented on there. That's the one Charles Grola always talks with. He says, Wayahe, gonna budge, bean zabi, gijana bank.
I think I'm seeing, or I'm looking.
Yep, I'm looking. Gonna budge, beans zabi, gijana bains, gijana bains, gijana buns, gijana bains, wanji, jumingwenit.
Smiling. Jumingwene is smiling. And what was that first one?
The
second one.
Oh, the second one was, I think, gonna budge. I think he looks bean zabi.
He looks like he's smiling.
Middle-aged man when he's smiling. Gonna budge bean zabi. Gijana bains when she's jumingwenit.
Man, yeah, that means it's when you smile.
When you smile, yeah,
Jumingwene.
I think he looks like a middle-aged man when he smiles, and he's talking about Dan.
Oh yeah.
And he's not here anymore, but but that was 4 years ago. I found that. I was like, wow.
Gita Jingwemen. You should smile.
Gida. How do you say that?
Jingwemen.
Gida Jingwemen. Jingwemen.
Yeah.
So when you take pictures, that's what you say, Jingwein
Jingwemen. Yep.
I can Jingwemen. I don't like to. Funny that older people don't like to take Misanate sale. They don't like to take pictures. That's just funny.
That's
Oh. Okay, one more program. Okay, so this one's kind of funny because these guys, Isaac Kingbird and Charles Grohl, they always talk back and forth to each other in the language. And how you know it's funny, they'll laugh, react on Okay, so he says, Charles Grola said opener last night. Any deer? And then Isaac said, Wayahe ingi nitage dibikung.
I went played cards or casino.
Okay. Ikado ginika kanisan. Okay. Ikado ginikanis.
Said you could do.
Ikado ginikanisanan. Ginikanis. So he's saying nikanis
That's some kind of a relative.
or some. Oh, with it.
With his son. I think it's a brother-in-law.
Yep.
Or
Gikanisanan. Ogimagijik. AKA Ozawashku Beginishu. Ozawashku Beginishu. Anishagogi Tata Gobin. Anishagogi Tata Gobinan Wawashke Shiwan Dibikum. But okay, so that part, it's come kind of might be stumped. Anisha.
Anisha?
could
Anisha?
be Inisha, that could be
Anisha.
Inisha, that could be what would I say, Inisha? Just saying that or just do
Well, he's saying Ogi Magijik, his own boss, right? That's what
Yeah.
Ogi Magijik.
Mm-hmm.
Ozawashko, blue or green. Beginishu. So something, he's describing something blue or green. Anisha Goki. Wawashke Shiwan Dibikum. Agawasha Zababi Gijana Bains. Gijana Bains is a middle-aged man, right? Gijana Buns. Ogi Bichinawan. I don't know.
I think it's they missed
They missed when they shot.
They missed a deer or whatever. They missed something.
Oh, Anisha, just for fun?
Mm-hmm.
Anisha, just for fun. Oh, okay.
Just for nothing, not really.
May Mongishans. Awaso Dagwaging. I know that's fall. Awaso. Last fall? Wait, Awaso.
Yeah.
This fall. Was it Awaso? Is this?
No, last fall.
Last fall. Magaja maybe. Magaja moose. Maybe moose ingi inandam.
I think inandams, I wish.
Maybe moose. I wish. Oh, maybe moose. I wish. Ikadu. He said. Gijana Benz. Middle-aged man. Ogi Magijik. His own boss, aka Bungie. Little. I just find their conversations funny because and then I practice when I go through and translate in my head, and then that's pretty cool. This was 2 hours ago he wrote this.
Yeah, I read them too sometimes. I read them what they're talking about. Do you want to shut that off?
You don't want to answer it?
No.
Okay. Peyton should call you back after the show. That brings my attention. Yeah, I want to work with her and Jalen and other members too around here. Get like Pete Isham, other elders, and get their knowledge, get their have them talk about like what you were just talking about earlier with what this lake can do. They're witnesses and
and his dad was a big sturgeon.
Yep, big sturgeon fisherman.
Yeah.
So
all them Ishams were like Hook and Hook Isham and Fred Isham and
known for their
Ira
fisherman
Isham,
expertise.
they would always go down and get oga.
Oga.
Is that sturgeon? No,
Walleye.
Oga.
Walleye.
Walleye.
oh, it's
Oga.
sturgeon.
Sturgeon's
Here, I'll look it
the...
up.
I know sturgeon. Now I'm forgetting. Oga is a walleye.
That guy though, Isaac Kingred, I could tell he has that old Anishinaabe Nini humor, that old
Mhm.
Indian man humor.
Oh, Name.
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 That's
Sturgeon.
a sturgeon. Name.
Okay, let's see. Medaswe after is Jabois, right?
Yeah.
Medaswe, Jabois, or is it
Anyway.
Ishqua?
I thought it was before.
Jabois is before, Ishqua is
It's
after.
after, yeah.
Medaswe, Ishqua. Oh, see, I just got Medaswe, Achi. Medaswe, Ishqua.
Sure.
Oh, see, I just got a mental block right now. 10 after 11, I'm trying to say.
Medaswe.
Medaswe, Ishqua. Medaswe, Shibasic. 10 after 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Medaswe. Medaswe. Ishqua. Medaswe Shibashik. Debaiganek.
See, that's why, like, when George said that, like, the etymology or the spirituality in our language, it's powerful because just right now we were just listening and I was reading those words and it just almost like it rewires your brain.
Really?
Yeah, because I couldn't finish that sentence.
Huh.
10 after
Yeah, I
11.
never even thought of that. That's probably what's going on, huh?
And then
Yeah, when we...
my car ended up breaking down. My SUV ended up breaking down after I said, Graham, how do you say my car broke down again? And she said, oh, Daban. How'd you say that again? Daban.
Oh,
Kibukshka.
Bukadaban Nashka.
Yeah,
No,
that's
is that
what
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kibuka Daban Nash. You could see Daban in there.
So there's
Daban
a
Nashka.
Nashka. And a week later, I ended up taking it to the auto body shop, and they said the whole rear end axle was shot. And I was just like, oh man,
dang.
careful what you say in the language, because
Oh, yeah.
there's some pretty
Right.
powerfulness to it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be scared to speak it though.
Right.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do this.
Well, there's ways to correct those things too. You know, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if there's something that when you know, I got a story about that, just kind of personally about our family and some of the ceremonies that we had done for my sister. We're kind of noticing how it even though we asked for help for her, that a lot of the family got the benefit from it. You know, like I feel better in a certain way when it came to my health, and also my mother was just remarking about that, and she said, yeah, that must have been because of the
Ceremonies.
prayers and ceremonies that we had. So you know, that kind of stuff, it takes care of people. You know, so just the side that of what you're talking about, and I like what you said about your brain getting rewired, and you know,
Yeah.
it's not just
Yep.
that you're like not that's learning, right?
Yep.
That's learning.
Yep.
So, and that's cool.
Maybe it's something with your spirit,
spirit.
going back. You know.
Yep. I think so. I think that's encouraging. I think a lot of people should probably look at it that way. You know, that their brain and their spirit is realigning. You know, and even though that they're just tripping up on some of these words, you know, keep trying at it. You know, and put your tobacco out, and you know, ask for that you know what I mean, to the knowledge or the, you know what I mean, to,
Yep,
to
the-
help your tongue.
Yep, the knowledge and the
Yeah.
yep.
You
Give
know-
or even spiritual signs too.
When
like-
I was 12 years old, I seen a spirit,
Mhm.
and it come in a spark.
Mm.
It looked like a little, say a little lightning bug that's flying at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sick, That was when they didn't have no doctors around here. I was like 12. We had to go to Little Fork where to go and see a doctor. Well, anyway, I was really sick. Nobody had aspirins, or our parents didn't buy aspirin or whatever. But anyway, at night I really got sick, and we had a shelf up above our bed like that, and we had a big battery radio, and I could see a little spark going back and forth, just traveling back and forth, just slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my mom, look at, what is that there? There's a spark. And she said, where? I can't see nothing, she said.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see it. She couldn't see it. And that must, I was so sick, that was my soul. It must have left my body.
Mm.
And that was it up there. I even got up as sick as I was, and I tried to go grab it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't let me grab it. It just kept going, and I'd go like that. Then I finally laid back down, and she said, I can't see nothing, she said.
Mm.
Then I got well that night. My fever broke, and she was telling my grandma the next morning what I seen, and my grandma told her, she said she must have been near death, she said, and that her soul left her body for a while. And if she got up on to try to grab it, if she would have got it between her thumb and her pointer finger, that sickness probably would have took her,
Mm-hmm.
she said, but it didn't.
Mm.
And she laid back down, and then about a couple hours later, my fever broke, and I was okay that next morning.
Oh.
And that happened to me early this morning. Anthony had to go to work today at Fortune Day, so he was up at 4 o'clock. The bus left at 5, and it was still dark out, and I could still see. It was dark. I had my yard light off, but I seen the same thing. I seen a spark outside by my porch, on them by my porch things I have. I just seen it for a second, and it went away. There was a soul outside there hanging around, and I kind of watched for it, and I never did see it again. But that's what like they say, your soul leaves your body when you die. Your body's just a shell, and your soul goes up right away and leaves. And
Remember you talked about those old spirit houses that they used to, traditional native funerals, they drill a hole
yeah,
so the soul, you used to tell me that
yeah,
they can travel through that little.
in and out. Yeah,
I just always used to think about that as a kid, like how.
why they drill a hole in
Well, then
they
too.
do that in the casket and the box, the box that they bury them in, a rough
Yep.
box. They
Yep.
drill a hole there too. So
I used to think about what it would be like, like how that process must really be like. Not that the actual process of a spirit going through that little hole. I used to think about that as a kid, and I was
yeah,
like, man, that must be
they're
something.
just so tiny, little bitty tiny light. This light this morning was just bright, and I didn't see it anymore. But that was just a wee agi na bo.
Yeah.
Kana bunch away. Kane bud. Kane bo away.
Well, I think that's very, very, very believable, especially in today's science.
Yeah.
I think they're finding things out, that are just beyond our normal perception. Just things that are out of phase. Like one of the things that kind of amazed me was they're talking about all this electrical activity that happens in our atmosphere, just outside of the Earth, just on the edges. And these things are happening so fast that we don't even notice them,
Mhm.
But every once in a while, somebody will capture something, as they're taking a picture of the sunsets and stuff, and they'll catch a little glitch, you know what I mean, in their photograph, and everybody just looks at it like it's some kind of something from the lens or something from the lighting or something like that. But if they really looked at it from a spiritual sense, that they would see that's them spirits that are up there too.
Duluth Police Department actually just posted that not too long ago. Somebody posted one of their photographs from their Ring camera, their outside door camera,
Yeah.
nighttime around Duluth in Duluth, Minnesota, and it was nighttime. The sensors went off and the lights lit up. Nobody was there, but there was, like you said, a glitch or something in the back of by the back of the car, and it was in the shape of almost like a human,
Yeah.
but there was nobody there.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Can somebody please explain this?" And
Yeah.
they were just debating about it. It's the crazy times we live in now.
Well, I think a lot of the stuff that we have, it's 24/7. You got cameras all over the place. I know my buddy Tony. He's a real, supernatural kind of. I don't know. He's got a high interest in it.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah. So he, things like Sabe and Bigfoot and all these other, I don't know what they call it. We had a guy up here. What was his name? Chaz brought him up. He was a crypto scientist or crypto something. I can't remember what they call him, but they investigate all kinds of.
What do they call it? Not
Cryptozoologist. Yeah,
zoology.
That's what he was, and that was really interesting. It kind of piqued my interest in other unexplained phenomena. Let's call it. You know what I mean? So like when you're talking about that camera thing in Duluth, that was teased Tony when we were driving in the car, and I turned it into reverse, and it shows the back of the rear of my car on the camera.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, look, that one, Sabe just went by." He looks at there and he's like, "Ah."
That, like, there's,
Sabe.
like, they have the number 4, the number 4, there's 4 races. All these 4 races don't believe the same thing. Like Indians, they all believe together about what long time ago, it's been brought on from year to year, like from my grandma, her other grandma, and things are, they say the Indians were the first ones here, and how long time ago, how the animals talked to each other, and the plants were here, and like I noticed a lot of what did I say, non-Indians got teachings about from the Indians a long time ago, and like they say when you pass away, this guy said you pass away and you don't go to the other 3 races because they won't let you in. You have to go to your own race, and you're Indian. And if you try to go to say a white place, they won't take you. They'll chase you away. They'll and it's just like why we some believe their own ways, and others don't, like Christians, they believe, and that's just how the 4 races are, and
Well, I remember I think it was through the, I don't want to say exactly, but as I heard it, let's put it that way. You know, there's teachings that have been kind of all brought together. What do they call it? Pan-Indian. You know, like it encompasses a lot of different legends, different stories. You know, and how that can be related to scientific findings nowadays. So that's kind of the thing that I really subscribe to, is that, you know, a lot of the stuff that they're finding on the spirituality spectrum, you know, is being kind of not discovered, but revealed, you know, through science. And I think it's, you know, like a lot of this stuff that they're talking about, this dark energy and all this other, you know, things that we can't detect at this time. I think in the future that they will, you know, there'll be some ways, but, you know, really, I always think to myself, they should just talk to the natives, you know. The natives will tell them what that's about.
Yeah.
And, you know, people who are more knowledgeable than I am, of course, you know, and, you know, for a lot of us, there's these individuals that are out there that are connected like that, you know. And especially a long time ago, I mean, yeah, we're probably losing a bit of that knowledge, you know, just kind of relying on what's in our books, of course. And what's in our books nowadays is not really all encompassing, you know. It's kind of targeted, and it's meant to I don't know what you want to, I guess the bad word to use is indoctrinate, you know what I mean, people into this system that we live in, which is the, you know, United States of America, you know, America and all that kind of thing. But I kind of see, you know, like Minnesota right now, they're putting a lot of funding towards Native American causes. I don't want to say, maybe causes is not the right word, but interests, you know. And I see that happening with our art, with our language. There's quite a bit of money that's out there right now. And, you know, we'll talk about a lot of that stuff, you know, as far as funding and creating programs. And I think that's one of the things that we want to do, is try to come up with new creative ways to do this language. You know, I was just thinking when you were talking earlier about, what do you call it? Having people practice what they say, and then how you want them to interact with you. I heard you talking last week about, I'm only going to speak Anishinaabe. Yeah. So I'm only going to talk, and if, you know what I mean, and you're hoping that people will respond to you in the language itself.
Yeah.
You know, but that kind of, I don't want to say, I feel the same thing that you do, guys out there listening. You know, when I'm encountering somebody that's speaking a different language, I'm not sure what's happening. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just like a blank slate. When somebody comes up and might say to me, Tony always does this. I don't know if that's even proper. Like you sprechen de Deutsch, you know, like do you speak German or something like that, you know? And you know, if somebody came up to me and said that, and they start rattling off in German or something like that, I'd be like, I don't know what you're saying, you know? And as a listener out there, I think, you know, some people encounter that with our own language, you know. So when somebody comes up, I mean, but I guess the proper way, what I'd like to kind of ease it a little bit, so they're not like, whoa, wait a minute here. I always think about that I have to change gears in my mind, you know, because like when you guys were going through that interpretation thing a while ago, I'm trying to follow along, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm picking out the words that you're picking out, and so I'm running it through my brain. But when I try to like follow along, you know how I'm seeing it?
Yeah.
I'm seeing it in how it's spelled.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do in my brain. So then after that, then I can kind of like, I don't know why I learn like that, but I think there's people out there that that maybe, you know what I mean? It's understandable that you need to switch your gear, you know, when you encounter that. But I think, I don't know if we can get to the point where everybody in the village here, when we address each other, you know, like bonjour, nashki benes, you know, that type of thing. Or like Marky, I saw Marky the other day, he's riding his bike out there, you know, and I said, bonjour Natawis, you know, and he just looked at me like he didn't expect it, right? Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but it's something he just waved at me, you know, and but that's something that I think if we, I don't know how to, you know what I mean?
How we would get everybody in the community to start.
Yeah, to be okay with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we try to do that at first and just give ourselves a little bit of time, you know, because he was going one way and I was going another way. I was in my car and he was on his bike, you know what I mean? And maybe he could have just said aha, or you know what I mean, just acknowledged it or something like that.
We should do, you know, I think it just came to my head. We could have a KBFT contest for that. We could, you know how they do TikToks now? Like
Yeah.
30-second TikToks?
Oh yeah.
We could do a contest. I could probably write out the dialogues and have everybody submit them in the around the community. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Have like a language immersion contest through TikTok, or a lot of people in the community have TikTok on their phone.
Okay.
We should do that. That'd be, and then have prizes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Hey,
just-
speaking of prizes, what do we got today?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I think we'll do, let's see, what do you think let's do counting 1 to 5 or what, as long as, how much, we'll do how far we can count to.
Oh, okay.
Just
All right.
if you can count to 5, 10, you know, just whatever you do. You know.
Okay.
You know, the other thing I don't like to do is correct anybody.
Oh,
But
okay.
I find myself correcting,
Right. Yep.
okay, we'll play for another, Patton's gift card,
Okay.
$25 gift card from Patton's.
Buzz Connor still has to pick his gift card up too.
You'll probably have to take it to him and give it to him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I will. I'll probably will after lunch. I'll probably
Yeah.
take it to him.
So you can call 218, you have your phone?
No, I
218-750-7268.
here, I'm going to put it up. Here we go. I'm going to put it up right on our Facebook feed here.
Anybody.
Let me see. Anybody can. Whoops, wrong one. Where did I go? Right here.
Kinago Awia. That means everybody.
Kinago Awia.
Awia.
Everybody. Anybody.
Yeah.
If you're from France and you're listening in,
Gitano Nick. You should call.
you should call.
Gitano Nick.
Kita Nunik. Uh-huh. So this is the number 218-750-7268, and we're just looking for somebody to count as far as they can. You know, I'll give you the first two, basic niche. There you go. 1, 2. Hey, how about 3? This sweet. Yeah.
Here, I'll turn it.
So call this number. It's right up on our screen. I think Tony's going to put a banner on the bottom of our Facebook feed there for the number. So if you're listening in online and you're from Bend, Oregon, or Osceola, Florida, or
There was a Winnipeg
Birmingham,
number
Alabama,
We can mail it. Yeah.
yeah, just call in, you know. And
But they
if
can
the
use-
patents don't work for you, we got even if you're a young person, if you want a controller, or you got kids, we got a game controller.
Then there's a elementary.
Oh, okay, those are for different things. Sorry about that. But we have different prizes, and we're going to be collecting more. And if you're a business out there, or you have a business and you want them to kind of promote your business like we are right now for the Patents gift certificate, you're more than welcome to give Nashki Benes a phone call and just let him know, or send it in, and we'll gladly offer it up as a prize. But here it is right now. Give us a call. I know you're itching out there, Renee, but
If someone
hold back a
can
little
give
bit.
you a call, then
Renee is one of
You
our
can-
biggest
you want-
listeners, and I know she wants to show everybody how easy it is just to call us. There we go. 218-750-7268, and we're going to take this first caller here.
Minogazeb,
Hello, Dave. Good morning.
Minogazeb. Ani nefshige nungum.
I could count
Okay,
to 10, I hope.
okay.
Okay.
Da do da.
Okay. Beijing, Nish, Nisui, Niwen, Nanan, Ningodwasui, Nishwasui, Nishwasui, Shangarsui, and Midasui.
Right on.
Any further? Wenandin,
That's it.
Wenandin.
No, she said meet you.
Oh, I said, who are you? I said,
Oh,
Oh, Nancy Louise.
Nancy.
Ich papa na standish na kanas.
oh. Andy, when you buying?
where are you from? Where are you from?
Where are you from? That means, where are you from? Andy, when you buying?
St. Paul Park.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in.
Well, you want,
The Cubs Foods gift card for $25, or the Mills Fleet Farm for, this is a $25 one
Yeah.
too. Mills Fleet Farm gift card.
Oh, Mills Fleet Farm for sure.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right.
give Perry your ad?
Okay. Well,
Where do
we
we-
won't give her her address, say her address on the radio, but I'll call her after the show.
Okay.
I'll get that number down.
278-0644.
Yeah.
Miguel, Chiki, Nuanda away.
Miigwech, Nancy. Miigwech.
Norwich.
Okay. We'll get this mailed out by today or tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you're learning.
Oh, I'm glad I love this. I wish I would always listen.
Yeah,
Every Thursday we'll be giving away a prize, so
yeah, you can win a game, Indian games or food restaurant things, or to hardware stores, or a little refrigerator, and a lot of other things. We got a lot of things.
we'll be having giving away 2 controllers, Xbox,
That's really
PS4. So if you have a niece, nephew, grandchild, or child, that you want to win it for, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, I'd be popular if I had those.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Okay. Miigwech. Thank you.
Miigwech.
Bye.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Eagle
thank you very much
Woman.
for
Ikawabamin,
calling in.
Gigawabamin, Minoa.
And yeah, Perry and Graham, they like to give away some prizes. They got a few of them. So tune in on next Tuesday. Yeah, and of course, if you're a business out there or something like that, or just want to support what we do here on the Karen Drift Language Show, you can certainly submit your either. I think the gift cards are pretty cool.
Mhm.
So that would be awesome. And just give us a call. Let me see. I think it's 218-757-3261. You get the operator and just ask for KBFT or ask for Perry Drift. So I hope Miigwech. Yeah, let's keep her rolling here. We got about 21 minutes and 45 seconds. So 20 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's keep her rolling here. And you got anything else you want to cover, Auntie?
Well, I'm going to go over these sentences again. I go
Okay.
to school.
All right.
Nigi, oh, I go to school. What I'm saying altogether is I go to school. Wawashkesh is my teacher's name. I learn Anishinaabe language and English. I have a pencil. I have paper. I like school. I'll have Perry say the sentences so he can learn more.
Okay. Niwi kikuno magu.
Nigi,
Nagi kikuno magu. I go to school.
yeah.
Okay. Wawashke shia jinakazu. Ga kikuno ma. No. Ga kino.
Gagi kino magi with
Okay.
Oh.
Wawashke shi jinakazu. Gagi kino mawit. Gagi kino mawit.
yeah.
Wawashke shi jinakazu. Gagi kino mawit. Wawashke. Deer is my teacher's name. Nagi Kandan Anishinaabe Moen, Minawa Jaganashi Moen. I learn Chippewa and English. But can't that also say I know?
Yeah. I know.
Nagi
I
Kandan.
know Anishinaabe Moen and
English.
yeah.
Okay.
Shikanashi Moen.
Indayan Ojibi Ganak. I have a pencil. Indayan Mazinegan. And if I wanted to ask you for a pencil, I could say Gida'ana.
Gida'ana Ushabi Ginak. Do you have a pencil?
Gidayana Ojibi Ganak. Okay. Indayan Mazinegan. I have paper. Gida'ana Mazinegan. Do you have paper?
Yeah.
Naminwendan Kikino Maguyan. Naminwendan Kikino Maguyan. I like school.
Yeah, or I'm glad to go to school.
Yeah, these are good, Graham. Should we say the other ones?
Yeah.
Whoops.
You're right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, where are they?
Them other ones, yeah, where'd they go? There's a paper there, it is.
They have stuff on here. Okay. How do you say?
Alright. So how are you? Anish Ajiayan. Anish Ajiayan. How are you? Please, can I go to the bathroom? Duga nizaga amina. Duga nizaga amina. May I please go to the bathroom? What is this? Wegunashi. What is this? Wegunashi. Gewabamana. Oh, it's okay, good. Did you see that? Good. So I could use that. I could say, Miskobanis Gewabamana. Did you see that? And he could say, you know, he could respond. How would you respond?
To what?
If I asked you, Gewabamana, did you see that?
Radio station.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah.
At a radio station.
Did you hear that? Gigi Noondamana. Noondam.
Yeah.
Gini. Yep. Did you hear that? Gigi
I'm at the radio
Noondamana.
station.
Anin P. Gewisinimin. Anin P. Gewisinimin. When are we eating?
Yeah.
And George could respond.
Let's see. Nanan de Baganig.
Nanandabaganek. 5 o'clock. Anish and set the Baganek, Miskobanis. What time is it?
Madaswe Ashibejik.
Or Gay Gagu now quick?
Yeah. You could say almost noon.
Oh, okay.
Go now, quick.
Say the first part. Giga.
Gay Gagu.
Go. Almost. Okay.
Gay Gagu now quick.
All right.
And I could say Wananaway. Who is that? Wananaway.
Namama.
Nimama. My mother. Andi. Where?
Auntie, you could say Auntie Asia. Oh, Andy, you're asking where?
Where?
Could
He would
say,
do.
okay, you did.
There we go.
Over there.
There. Yep.
Mhm.
There. Anin P. When? Anin P.
You could say.
Noon Goom.
No, today, yeah, noon gum, he said.
Or Wabang.
Oh, Wapang.
Yeah,
And then Was Wabang is 3 days ago, right?
yeah. Was wabang, yeah, day.
Dibikung is last night.
Yeah.
So there's many
Bijinago-
responses.
Bijinago is yesterday.
Bijinagu. Yesterday. This is what you say to my daughter all the time. Wagune.
Mm,
What?
You say,
You say Gawin Gego? No?
Gawin.
no, you'd say,
Gawin Gabo.
George. You say, Wagonan. You say,
What?
what? Oh, going, Gago. Nothing.
Okay, all right, I had it right.
And then I'll say Anin Dana. What's that mean? Anin Dana.
I mean, what's wrong with you?
Is that or what's the
that?
matter?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anin Dana.
Mm-hmm.
So that's asking what's the matter or what's wrong.
Mhm.
I'm big, is he?
I'm big, is he?
Mm-hmm. He's.
Okay. On Dwayne Japan, where are you from? On
Oh, Onanami, Zagaigan.
Anin Asian Akazuin.
Scooping.
Scoopinese.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So yeah, we should do. I think I do want to do that. We should have a contest and see and get some. What I'll do is I'll write out like 20 dialogues, short dialogues with the
Ani?
conversation.
Ani neshi ikid to win nashki benes.
Anish.
Ani neshi kid to win.
Oh, how do you say that?
Yeah.
Anish. Anishiki Kaduin. Anishiki Kaduin.
You could say Sabikoneza the igan. How do you say that? How do you say you know,
Fondulackers say. Fondulackers
Gikadu.
Gikadu.
No.
Gikadu. Sabakone Zaga Iganing. That's how they say our
yeah.
word. But
So how would you say that? Like if they were from Fond du Lac, Nagachu and Nung Anishinaabe? No.
No, I got you in
Like if they were Fond du Lac,
Nagachi. Is it Nagachi?
Nidun Jiba.
Nagachu and Nung and Dun Jaba?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. I meant like you're saying that like Naski B'nai said, Fond du Lacers say it this way. How would you say that?
Or as your kid to work not how do you say that?
No. Well, could you say?
As your kid to work how they say it.
Oh, okay.
They say
Asia Kid the Wook.
Yeah.
Asia.
Nagachi
Kidwood.
Nagachi Wanang Anishinaabe Gikadu Sabakone Zaga Iganing.
Yeah.
Would that work too?
Yeah.
Fond du Lac, Anishinaabe say, oh, Giikaduk? Would
Yeah.
it be, because it's plural, right?
Yeah.
Giikaduk?
They say
They say, Sabakone Zaga Igini.
Hmm.
That's how they say in that lake. But we say it Sabikune. I don't know. I've always heard Gene and my grandpa and everybody else say Sabikune Zaga.
Zaga Iganing.
Sabikune.
Zaga
Sabikune
Iganing.
Zaga.
That's how, yeah, they would say Ikaning. Jesse used to say Zabikane Zagi Ikan.
Well, I've heard Gene say Zaga Igun too.
They used to say it any both ways.
Yeah, both are correct. Zaga Iganing and then Igun. Zaga Igun. But yeah, it's all.
Like if they say, "How are you?" Anish Eji Ayahayan. You'd say, "Oh, Gawin, Apichin, Mino, Kanabansha, Niki Akusi. How are you? I don't think I'm well. I think I'm getting sick." Like Anish Eji Ayahayan. Oh, Mino, I'm good. Or Ani Neji Ayayan. How are you? Naman Andam Nungum. I'm feeling bad today. Or you could just give Ani Neji Ayayan. Oh, Nadil Kwe. I have a headache.
Yeah, koze.
Yeah. I'm tired. Aninaishi ayayan nulong. Niyakuzi. You could just, like I had this at the school. Please, can I go to the bathroom? They have to ask in Indian if they want to go to, and they were doing it, Tikani Sagaam, please, can I go to the bathroom? And they'd come and ask me, can I go to the bathroom? I'd say, Tikani, or they would have to say, Tikani Sagaam, Daga Nizaga Ina. Can I go to the bathroom? I'd say, Eya Majan, yes, go.
Niga Zam? No.
No, Daga Nizaga Ina. Can I go to the bathroom?
Inna. Okay.
Daga Nizaga Ina. Nizaga Ina. Or you'd say, Gawi, and you'd say, no. Gigago Nimach Tamino Ma, no, we're almost done here.
So you'd say Beka Niga. Wait, no. Beka. I'm trying to say, hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom. Beka, wait, right? Wait.
Yeah.
Yep, hold on.
Nig,
Beka.
That would be hold on.
Nizaga
Yeah.
Just that? That's all?
Yeah. Beka.
Okay.
Or you'd
Beka,
say,
Beka, Nizagam.
Wait.
I'm going to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait to go to the bathroom.
Mm.
We're almost done here.
Mm.
Gigago Nagiji Tamin.
Mm.
Nagiji Tamin. And like, I'm gonna ask Perry, Weguneshi. Why don't you
How?
respond?
Weguneshi. I would respond. Gawin ni Kandan. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Gawin. I know some speakers use amunj, which is, I don't know,
Yeah.
because Grandpa used to use amunji duk.
Mhm.
I don't know.
What is that, a munchie dugri?
But you told me I could also use Gawin Nigi Kandan. I don't know. Or I
What is
know I
this?
don't.
Yeah, Kawiniki Kandan away. What it is? Or Weguneshi. Oh, you could say the mama and Dain, my mother's things. The
Oh yeah. I remember that. You said Nindai.
Nin
Nindaim is my
my things.
Daim.
My things, yeah. Nin Dain. And Weguneshi. Kikawab. Oh, what do you see? Wegunan. Or did you see that? Gikawab. Giwaba ma na.
I'd say Miskwa Ina. No. Miskwa Makwa.
Gog twug.
Ni. How would I say that? Out of Brown Bear? A red.
Wegunan wabandaman.
A Waganan Waban Daman.
Uzawi makwa. Uzawi makwa.
Yeah.
Wagunan wabandaman.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
Newabama Uzawi makwa.
Yeah.
Newabama Uzawi makwa. I see a brown bear. How do you
Looking at
say
me?
How do you say looking at me again?
Giwabamik.
Negiwabamik.
Okay. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Nigi Wabamik.
Newabama Uzawi makwa. Negiwabamik.
Looking at me.
Looking at me.
Looking at me.
Okay.
Or you could say Anish Makadi. Oh no, not Maka. Mawak. I'm trying to say a beautiful girl. Makadi's no.
Beautiful. There is a word for
Mawakad.
you.
Makawadazi.
Oh,
Oh,
Nishishin, is that
No,
pretty?
That's nice.
Nice.
No.
Mikawadazi.
Yeah.
Mikawadazi.
Mikawadazi.
Kwezas.
Kwezans.
Beautiful girl.
Looking at me.
Mikawadazi.
Mikawadazi.
Kwezas and Gigawabamik.
Okay.
That could be used for opposites. Mikawadazi. Manadis.
That's ugly.
Yep, because I remember that ugly duckling used to say story he used to tell. Manadis she ugly duckling. So pretty. Mikowe.
Mikawadazi.
Mikawadazi. Pretty. Mikawadazi. That's cool.
Then handsome. That it has like a man, for a man to be handsome.
Oh, what was that other one you used to tell us? Newski? No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another word they used to use for newski.
Mm.
So if a man was bragging up, could he say Ninuski? I'm handsome? Or how would you say
Yeah.
I'm handsome?
I'm handsome.
Ninuski?
Yeah.
Handsome. I've never heard that word before. That's cool. Handsome Nuski.
And then, did you hear that? Ginoon da, na?
Ginoon
dam, na?
I remember when I was a kid, you
da,
said
na?
Ginoon da away, na? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Wegunan. I'd say when you said, did you hear that? I said, Wegunan.
You-
What?
Oh, Yudi. What, over there? No, I've been to Yudi.
Look over there.
Look over there.
Mm.
That's
Then
where.
if I said, Ginoon dam, na? You said that to me, and I'd say, Wegunan. What I'd say? Oh, away, Ninojis and Ogi Akuzi. Did you hear that? Your grandchild is sick? No.
Well, could I also say, for a more humorous response, could I say, Gawapaman and na Miskobanes? I'll joke with the last part. Don't translate the last part. Kajangadish. Could I? Is that it? Is
Yeah.
that- okay, I can't.
I'd say Gawain.
No. No. But, okay. See, like, that's how we get it back. Small conversations, and everybody can do it. George is doing it now on the radio.
Mhm.
You know, everybody can. I'm still on my language journey, so, you know, I'm still learning a lot, so
Like,
don't get discouraged.
when are we eating? Anin na pi giwisinimin. Anin na pi giwisinimin. And I could ask, you know, and you could say, oh, now Quig,
Lunchtime.
12 o'clock.
Now Quig.
Or noon time.
Now, quick.
Anin na pi giwisinimin. And you could either answer, Gawin na giwisinimin na mama o gi maja. No, we're not eating. Our mother went somewhere. And
Say, we ba?
oh yeah, my mama ne ba. Our ma's sleeping.
Mm.
Miba.
Ogi ne ba.
I've seen that.
Ani na pigi wisinimin. When are we eating?
Way ya ba? Way
Yeah.
ya ba? No.
We ne ba.
Oh, we na ba. Okay.
We na ba.
She's sleeping.
So we is like all W-I-I.
Yeah, she's
We.
sleeping.
Oh.
She's sleeping.
She's sleeping.
And then Anish at Satyabhai Connect. That's when you can see basic needs to swing when Nanan Dubai Connect. All the numbers from 10.
Okay, gotta go now, quick.
Yeah.
Nisho.
Yeah. What time is it? Anish and Satyabhai Connect.
Okay, gotta go
Ani.
now, quick.
Yeah.
No comments?
You gotta go now, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, me you. I'm not even done. Gawin,
Still got 2 minutes, Graham.
Gawin nigi how do we say done yet? I didn't even get to the cities I have. Where cities like Aiken, Alnamia, Garrison, Brainerd, Isle, St. Cloud, Malacca, Little Falls, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Ely, or
Onamia, isn't that a word too? Onamia, almost sounds like Onamia.
Yeah.
Prayer,
Yeah.
or I mean,
Kibakwe Ikaning.
All those towns have
That's
Anishinaabe meanings.
Onemia. Kibakwe Ikaning. Mhm. And then Garrison is Maji Ikaning. Maji Ikaning. And then Brainer is Oshki Ode Anang. Ayo. Chimi Chimi Nising. Chinimi Ising. Niimi.
We're gonna have
Okay, Miil.
Miil.
I'll go through these again.
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Gi mi questo gi bisan daw yag nunggo.
Okay, we're going to turn you over to National Native News coming up here and also Native America Calling. You guys all have a good one. I hope.